Your money, $697 million annually, plus the shipments of cash funds madrasas, ISIS, Al-Qaeda, Boko Haram, ISIS Khorasan, terrorist training camps. That's what it's funding.
Welcome back to the WSXM channel. I don't know. My name is Stefan. Well, thanks for watching. Thanks for returning. So, tonight we're going to discuss the fact that we found out for sure, even though we knew already, that the US spent over $1 billion funding terror groups all over the globe to destabilize the African continent alongside Pakistan, Afghanistan, and all those other countries. So, but my focus tonight will be on Africa. So, let's dive into it. I've been saying this for the longest while, that how is it these terror groups that's attacking Burkina Faso, Mali, Niger, Nigeria, Somalia, Sudan, even the Congo, how is it these guys are so fully equipped? These terror groups, where are they getting their money from? They are in the bushes hiding, but yet they have armored vehicles, they have helicopters, they have drones, they have the latest technology in weapons and some of the latest weapons and bullets. Note, mind you, these countries don't make or design weapons, so you have to be coming from the West, because these are Western weapons. How are they getting their hands, or where are they getting the money from? Now we know that the US spent over $1 billion on giving out money to terror groups and also terrorist training camps. Like legitimately, they know that this is what is happening, and they're still sending money to these people to, to keep the African continent um in civil war, so they don't focus on their resources that have been stolen. But in fact, they paid the head of the gendarme in Burkina Faso $30 million to take out Abraham Traore. He was caught, luckily, before it came to fruition. But the fact that they spent 30 billion on one man shows you the length these people are going to make sure Africa does not unite or come together like what the AES Sahel countries are doing. They already take over the ECOWAS, the African Union. They already have their puppet presidents in there to make sure that things go their way. So don't take my word for it, because I don't want to believe I'm drawing these numbers from out the ear, or these are some fictitious figures. Listen to what a U.S. senator in the Senate basically lay out what was found out, and this goes back to the Obama era. Before me play the video, this includes Obama, Biden, um, and currently still happening, even though it's froze now, but this is going on for years, guys. Keep in mind, Obama was responsible for taking side with the French government to take out Gaddafi, which they accomplished. And they spread misinformation on him for like 2-3 years before they actually take him out. So this is what, anyway, let me know what. Let me play the video so you can hear it for yourself. Take a listen. Boom.
The Taliban is classified, and if you don't know, the Taliban's in charge of Afghanistan. They're classified as a specially designated global terrorist organization by OFAC. So post 2021, so this is last year, 2024, we spent $697 million of the taxpayers' dollars in Afghanistan, including $534,719,000 in change from USAID in Afghanistan. I don't know what we think we're going to change in Afghanistan. We lost 22,000, lost or wounded 22,500 Americans in Afghanistan over the course of our term there in the war, spending over $2 trillion. We're just going to keep on spending because somehow we think it's going to get better. And if you're wondering who's in charge of Afghanistan getting the money, and that money I just mentioned, the $697 million is on top of, and is in addition to the weekly to every 10-day shipments in cash of $40 to $80 million. Afghanistan is ruled by folks named Sarajuddin Haqqani. The Haqqani network mean anything to anybody in the room? How about Abdullah bin Laden? Who gets some of that money? Does that name ring a bell to anybody in the room? Because your money Your money, $697 million annually, plus the shipments of cash funds madrasas, ISIS, Al Qaeda, Boko Haram, ISIS Khorasan, terrorist training camps. That's what it's funding. If you think that the program under Operation Enduring Sentinel entitled Women's Scholarship Endowment, which receives $60 million annually, or the Young Women Lead, which gets about $5 million annually, is going to women who, by the way, if you read the Inspector General's report, is telling you that the Taliban does not allow women to speak in public. Yet somehow you're believing, and American people are supposed to believe, that this money is going for the betterment of the women in Afghanistan. It is not. You are funding terrorism, and it's coming through USAID. And
So there you have it. First, they sent 697 million. 697 million. Then, additional 534 million dollars. So 534 million and 630 and 97 million. That's over 1.1 billion dollars. Plus, they are still selling on top of that 40 to 80 million every 10 days, a week to every 10 days, they're selling that amount of money, 40 to 80 million, to these countries, to Afghanistan, to Iraq, to he said it, Boko Haram, Taliban, all these groups that they know are terrorizing the African continent. They know this. That's why these guys are so fully equipped. And when African leaders want to buy weapons, they refuse to sell it to these African countries for some ridiculous trade agreement they signed during the Berlin Accord in 1892 to 94, when they split up Africa and divided between the superpowers at the time. So, what can we say about this? That you can know now we know for a fact that it was, and this is just one country. This is just the US. We're not talking about the other Western countries who already are also doing the same thing, by sending um, troops to, not troops, sending mercenaries and funding them to destabilize the continent. That's what, like the war that's going on currently in Sudan, Somalia, and the DRC. So they are right now currently they are blaming um Paul Kagame, the president of Rwanda, for the DRC civil war and turbulence that's going on. While uh, this 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 turmoil, this conflict has been going on for decades in DRC, and Paul Kagame took over Rwanda like 30 years ago, but for the first 10, 15 years, he was nation building because remember they went to a civil war where over almost a million people lost their lives. So it takes time to rebuild trust and confidence in the country till they become a booming country. No, they are blaming he for the what DRC is going through. It is we know that for a fact they are funding these groups to make sure these countries stay in the state of civil war, so that they cannot organize and become one. Like the African Union is basically taken over by the West. So was ECOWAS. We know ECOWAS was ruled by the Western and European colonizers and puppet masters who put all their puppet presidents and make sure they are standing by them. Look at the president of Kenya, President Ruto, and the president of Ghana, the former president Nana Akufo. He sided with the Americans to have training drills on the border of Burkina Faso because he stays saying that they are a terrorist country. Now, just before he leave office, he wants to join the Sahel nation, and they are this good. Why all of a sudden they change? Because there's over 19 attempts on Abraham Traore's life. 19. And because they all fail. So now what they're trying to do, I think now they're gonna try to play the long game where they're gonna try to have these the Ivory Coast just kick out the American army, Chad and all these, so they're gonna use these countries now to join the AES Sahel nation, to use them to get to these three leaders to make sure the Sahel nation does not work. Even though currently that's the reason they are so fearful of these three nations, the Sahel nation, because of what they have accomplished. They have showed the Africa that You can become debt free if you do not borrow or take any money from the World Bank, IMF, or take any aid money. But they don't get no aid assistance from no country. They are cut off when the leaders take over. So that shows you they don't want this to be replicated on the African continent, because if it does, there's no need for the West or the Europeans to be there. Their claim is they are there to help combat terror attacks. Even though while they are there, they have more attacks. Look at this. The US spent over $100 million putting in a um a drone base in Niger. This was before they were kicked out. We know the Sahel nations, East Africa, which is Niger, Burkina Faso, Mali, Nigeria, Senegal, Cameroon, and these countries. They used to use that drone program to keep an eye on these groups and these countries. So how is it when Boko Haram keep kidnapping 300, 200 schoolgirls, they all to get away scot free? They can't find them, they don't know where they are. Mind you, they have one of the most advanced drone program in Africa, in Niger, which is a couple not too far from Nigeria. So how is it these guys can come in, take 300 bodies, march them into a secret location where you can find them, and you have drones, satellites, the latest gadgets when it comes down to spies. But yet you can find if I'm going to the airport, you can find a tic tac in my shoe or a needle in my pocket. But you cannot find over 300 people plus marching through when you have drones and satellites. That shows you these things was all planned and make sure to make the country look bad, to cause civil war, and to make sure the presidents stay in their place. And this is why they don't want these um this is why they don't want the USAID, whatever the group is, to be shut down. They still want to use them to launder their money, enrich themselves. I'm talking about the US politicians, and make sure the continent keep destabilized, because the machine itself, the government itself, is a machine that continues whether regardless who comes. Sometimes someone can comes in and change the trajectory at times, but most of the time that machine keeps chugging along. That's one of the reasons why I cannot respect President Obama, because he assists in taking out the Gaddafi, one of our leading president on the continent, when he wanted to make sure Africa have one currency, which was a gold dinar. They took him for that. They tried the same thing with um the first Ghana president Kagame. They took him out. They took out President Sankara of Burkina Faso because he was revolutionizing and making people come together. So every single person that we have that try to build unity, they make sure they take them out. But no, these are modern days. We have more access to information. There's no more paint. They cannot now put out a propaganda and paint the narrative that this country is this or this leader is that. They are still trying, and it surprises me why some African people, citizens in some of these countries, are taking and listening to what the Western media is perpetrating on the African continent. It blows my mind because they have seen what they have done in the past and who they have taken out and the misinformation they spread. But anyway, so let me know what you think about this new revelation. Well, not new revelation for me, but revelation for some of you who did not know that the West is consistently spending billions of dollars to make sure the African continent stay separated and stay in check. Let me know what you think about it in the comment section. Boom.